Hello, everybody. Back again with another Shane Dawson, the mind of Jake Paul reaction. This time we're gonna be doing the second part, the dark side of Jake Paul. I'm really excited about this one, so let's get right into it. 3, 2, 1, click.
All right, welcome to part 2 of The Mind of Jake Paul. Now, today's episode, I sit down with therapist Katie Morton to talk about the psychology of Jake Paul. And we also talk about my issues and the fact that I probably need more therapy. So that's why I'm excited to once again say that today's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. This is something I really think is great, something I actually really believe in. So BetterHelp is a service and an app where you can get affordable and private online counseling whenever you want. Like I've said before, going to a therapist office or sitting down with a counselor can be kind of intimidating and a little scary, which is why I love this, because you can just be on your phone, you don't have to go in anywhere, and you can just set up your appointment, you can message them when you want to talk. It's just really easy and it's great. So you'll fill out a questionnaire and then they'll match you to a counselor. And then you can get started getting counseling on your computer or your smartphone or your tablet. That being said, if you're in a crisis or you're in danger, this is not the site to use. I will put all those links in the description as well. So if you want to check it out, I'll put the link right at the top of the description below. It's betterhelp.com/Shane. All right, enjoy part 2 of The Mind of Jake Paul. Good luck.
Tessa is asleep right now, and we are going to do the buried alive prank. The buried alive prank is where you go into someone's room while they're sleeping, you put a ton of blankets over them. It's like a lot of weight and like pressure, and they feel like they're in a coffin, and you play an ambulance noise, and then you start to talk like, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay, she's gonna make it through it, she's gonna make it through it, and then they freak out. All right, so let's see what happens.
Okay. Doesn't exactly sound like a prank, but, you know.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
What the heck? That was so scary! Jake!
You couldn't breathe?
No.
Makes it more real.
Yeah, I've never heard of that prank before.
Yeah, she was so scared. She was even like, are you mad at me? Don't be mad at me. You're alive.
I don't know if I'd want somebody doing that to me.
Okay.
Like, what is it even supposed to simulate, though? I mean, it's not like being buried alive.
Wish me luck. Okay, I love you.
Aww.
Find out if we're all psychopaths.
Wearing a backpack. Oh.
Hey everybody, today I want to talk to you
Oh, right.
about
The chick.
word psychopath.
The therapist YouTuber chick.
I think that there's got to be some reason why somebody can be as, I don't know what the word is, outgoing, negatively outgoing as him.
Obnoxious?
I love you.
Whatever it is, probably runs in the family because his brother. Right. But Logan, I feel like, is more likable. Right? Like, not as many people hate him.
Yeah, like that's basically one of the main things I know is that like Jake Paul is the bad one, the annoying brother.
Doing like a little documentary thing about whether or not he's a sociopath.
Oh yeah, I heard you talking about it. Yeah.
Have you met any sociopaths?
I meet a lot of people, but I don't know if I met a sociopath. Yeah, how do you tell somebody's a sociopath?
It must be awesome to be Shane Dawson's
from what I've
driver.
read, they're instantly likable, but they don't have real emotions, and everything they do is kind of an act. And they
You
just
wouldn't
wanna
know though.
manipulate
Like
you.
it.
My wife. I didn't know that. I thought it's the opposite. Somebody that's unlikable, not likable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's her.
I mean, it's hard to tell if a sociopath is putting on an act unless they're like really bad at it.
You don't follow? I guess it would make sense that you don't follow him. Why would you follow him? animals. That is literally the most haunting thing I've ever seen in my life. So this is I know that. Yeah.
This really cements why I'm not
like that is
one of the Paul gang or whatever they call themselves.
Right. It doesn't look real. Oh, he likes animals. So that's
Aww.
good. Or is he pretending to like animals?
Who doesn't like dogs
Who's that
though?
with him? Justin Roberts. That's Justin Roberts. I mean, whoever Justin Roberts is, he has his own private plane. I have so many questions. Seriously. They have a giraffe? Is that for real?
What is that?
Do they actually have a giraffe?
Yeah, like,
I don't think so.
well, they probably don't have a giraffe, but
Maybe.
they probably got a giraffe for a video.
Weird.
Just like the lion. I remember seeing that in the last video.
That looks like two fucking straight up sociopaths.
Oh.
Their next move.
Right, before the whole KSI thing.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm gonna be famous, dude. Good morning, New York! Accept me, love me!
What is wrong with you? I could have died.
I'm doing good, right? Do I keep on going?
Thank you so much.
Driving a car over somebody. Yep, that sounds like the right thing to do for YouTube content.
I was almost gonna say, like, is there anything that she could tell you that would make you not want to do this anymore?
What do you mean?
Like if she says, well, when it comes to this type of person or when it comes to this disorder, you don't want to X, Y, Z.
Nah.
You even think about that? I mean, you don't really know much about.
Nah, he already
him
went this
or
far. He
this
went
thing that you're
back out
claiming you
now.
have. So it's like, if somebody tells you something about him, or if somebody tells you something about this potential disorder, maybe you might.
He's trying to see if he's a sociopath, not a psychopath, not a murderer. It's not that far that he'd have to be worried about his life or something.
Oh, I was just saying, I feel like I'm about to get on a roller coaster right now. Well, I'll explain later what this all
She
is.
looks kind of she looks kind of scary.
There's a lot more to it than just like, originally we were going to talk about YouTubers.
Yeah.
And if you have to be kind of a sociopath to be a YouTuber.
Honestly, are you a sociopath?
I don't know.
We all know David's a psychopath.
This is a surprise, y'all.
Exactly.
I'm also not a sociopath.
Or have some type of personality disorder. It kind of led into a weird direction, which we'll get into later. Before we do that, sociopaths.
Yes.
You know, you came on my podcast, and you were very clued in. Like, you knew that I had struggled with an eating disorder.
I look in the mirror and I see a huge person.
What is body dysmorphic disorder, and how do we know if we have it?
You knew by even looking at me. You're very intuitive about all that. So that's why I wanted to talk to you about this, because I feel like if anybody could...
I've actually never
tell
seen
me
this chick,
what to look
like
for, it would be you.
any of her videos or anything.
You can feel them. I don't know if you can really spot them.
I hated that. Oh my god. Okay, what do you mean you can feel them?
It's like like you said, roller coaster. That's a perfect way to set it up, because it's almost like when you're around people like this, it's if you sense what I sense, I guess, about them, it's like a pit in your stomach. Like it's that feeling, but just from them being around.
That good of a therapist?
Okay.
Just like
So
able to tell just like that by being around him?
what are the characteristics, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to it. A lot of it is just the main thing that people talk about is like they have no empathy. And I think that's a hard thing for people to actually fully understand, because most of us don't have this issue. So we feel for other people.
Yeah.
And we feel all day. I feel pissed off. I feel excited. I feel disappointed, whatever. They don't have any of that. For instance, the other day I was in my car and I'm driving and there's this little old lady that started to get into the crosswalk and I was like, honey, you got like 12 seconds. I hope people wait for you and don't pay attention. You know, a sociopath would just be like, ugh.
Whatever, just run her
They
over.
wouldn't worry. There's no worry for her. They don't have any empathy for the situation for her. They wouldn't, if someone kicked a dog and they saw it, they wouldn't feel anything for it. They just have no empathy. And I know I'm talking about like bad things, but also good things. Like they just don't. Like imagine if you lived in a world in your brain where anything that happened to other people, you didn't really care about it at all. You didn't care how they felt. You didn't care what happened to them, as long as it didn't affect you.
The moments many feared would be their last.
Ooh.
Damn.
That is terrifying.
Yeah, that's hence.
Yeah.
That feeling. Like,
is that?
I mean, Logan Paul doesn't.
Mental disorder? What is it?
Technically speaking, a lot of like clinicians like myself would call it antisocial personality disorder.
Hey everyone, it's Iris, and I am going to talk to you about antisocial personality disorder, which is my diagnosis.
So what are like the bullet points, for example?
Logan and Jake Paul don't seem like apathetic.
Sociopaths believe that like
They're
the
just
law
like-
doesn't apply to them and like the rules don't apply to them. They're like above it and they're so important.
There's a difference
to everybody
between
else
being
that,
like
they'll get away with it, like nobody.
a sociopath
You should know, while we were shooting the episode,
and
I
being
got
like
arrested. Okay.
We're getting pulled over.
a person who makes really wild bad
Am I
decisions.
threatening?
Did you have your ID, ma'am?
I have a warrant out for my arrest, and he just pulled us over and let us all go.
So they always just think they're better, bigger, more important than everybody else. Like for instance, failure to conform to social norms with respect to lawful behavior. So they're usually like
getting into fights.
She ended up starting a full-on fight.
Wouldn't that be the same for like narcissists though?
After stealing a tube of lip gloss, Megan Fox went on a crime spree at her local Walmart.
And it could go as far as murder.
Simpson arrested for the murder of his wife Nicole and her friend Ron Goldman.
But then deceitfulness, indicated by repeating line, using aliases, conning others. So using anything they can to get their needs met. People aren't people, they're just tools to be used in their life for their game, whatever it is.
Okay. So like to a sociopath, the world is a chess game.
Yes.
And all the pieces are people.
And they don't care about them. There's no empathy for them. Remember that. They're just tools. Can I use that to help me get what I want? So, for instance, people who would have antisocial personality disorder will be extremely rude to any help people. So they tend to be like really quick and like angry and irritable and like push them off.
Leaders. So like for example, if it was a YouTuber, they would probably be rude to fans. No, because they want something.
They give them something, yeah. Because the main two things that they usually want is power and money.
And I'm gonna be the biggest entertainer on the planet. I wanna be the first social media billionaire.
So with fans comes power and money.
Buy that merch.
So they'd probably be actually really nice to their fans.
I wouldn't doubt you doing it, man. I'm going to. Spend
I mean, they display a lot of emotion.
He's awesome.
And like before the whole fame thing,
They wouldn't care.
Not really.
from what it was
But
saying
if it meant that
before,
they could make a video about it and get more views and get more fans.
Jake Paul, there's I don't know how to say this, but like we lost.
Isn't that creepy? It's
Oh,
so creepy. It's
okay.
like, we're gonna take a shower.
But I mean, like
Yeah.
Then they also are impulsive, so failure to plan ahead.
before the whole fame thing, they didn't seem like really dickish or anything. It was like after they got famous, right?
So I always think impulsive is like a dangerous thing for both them and the people around them. You know.
That sounds like someone we know. But but they don't have emotions, so like they wouldn't cry.
They might if they thought it made them fit in or like get what they want because they're deceitful.
So sociopaths. So they don't have emotions. Do they pretend to have emotions?
Yes, because they'll mimic to fit in to get what they want. You and I aren't going to respond well to someone just asking us for something. You'd have have to feel emotionally involved in some way in order to do something that maybe we normally wouldn't do. So in order to get people to be the tools that they need, they'll mimic behavior that they know will elicit the response they want.
Okay. So they're pretending to laugh, they're pretending to cry. Are they just like kind of mimicking what they've seen in like movies?
Yeah, movies, other people around them. If they, like, let's say, for instance, we're talking about YouTube. So if they're watching a ton of YouTube videos and they would see how
I've met somebody like that before.
to see how people react to that kind of a video, and then they'd mimic that.
I'm not gonna say their name, but
let's say
like,
someone was super successful and they did story time videos, for instance. And I'm not calling anybody out. I'm just saying if they saw that someone was doing this,
yeah, it's creepy as hell.
the people in the comments really feel for them. And then
If like somebody like has this fake thing going on, right?
Oh, I could do that too. I could mimic that.
And like the charade fails, like, because obviously.
So they learn like what gets people ahead, what type of behaviors, what type of emotional responses get what they want.
Now, for example, like, not to, I don't want to say this person's a sociopath because I don't know, but like Logan Paul, for example, the dead body thing was.
Yeah, I've met some people that are like,
God, he's hanging.
it just seems fake. Like everything they put on, like the emotions, their personality, like, and then under it, they just seem like they aren't fazed by anything.
Like I said earlier, suicide, mental illnesses, depression.
To me, it was like, oh, this is sad. I'll put a sad song. So, not saying he's a sociopath, but like that's something that a sociopath would do, right? Be like,
Totally.
oh,
Yeah, because that would be like mimicking behavior. We have to think of like, because that would make it feel, it'll elicit the response maybe he's wanting.
Suicide is not the answer. Literally, guys, what I preach every day is being a maverick. Like, it's okay to be different. It's okay to be unique. In fact, I encourage you to do that. If you're not a part of the Low Gang, make sure to subscribe.
Again, not saying he's necessarily a sociopath, but like, that would be what sad music. I mean, we all know even on YouTube, and it'll say like sad. It like kind of tells you what the music is. We pick it according to that.
That's crazy.
Well, anybody would do
Somebody
that.
didn't know like how to be emotionally. They would just go to the audio library and like literally click the emotion.
The emotion that they want people to feel.
Do they not know? Like, would they? If a YouTuber is a sociopath and they're making an apology video,
I first want to apologize to my brother.
So they just type in sad and they pick one?
I in no way meant to like hurt his feelings.
Would they not know what a sad song was?
They might know it just because of society.
Yeah.
Think about like radio DJs will be like, oh, here's a sad song about a lost lover. I mean, I don't know. So they probably learned, but I think what they don't have knowledge of is what it is to experience that emotion.
Oh, wow. When a sociopath...
So they can understand the emotion, but they can't feel it.
Because I've been around some people who have cried in front of me, and not like in a video or anything, just in real life, and I'm like, why do I not feel anything? I don't feel anything right now. Is that a sign?
So as you can see, I got a tear to come out.
Because if they're mimicking, they are honing their craft, kind of. So if they're not very good at it, they won't elicit the right response out of you.
Her fans are not having it.
Because they're not really that good at doing it.
Everyone says that the sociopath is such a great actor, but when we take pictures of people, they're caught off guard. They don't have time to put the mask on. So the eyes look dead and they have this creepy, weird, fake smile, or their eyes will be dead, but then the mouth will do this.
It's just off. Something's off.
Yeah.
Okay. What's next?
We're only halfway through, okay?
Jesus.
Irritability and aggressiveness is indicated by repeated physical fights or assaults.
As this is not the first time she's been caught on video throwing a shoe in a fight.
Like they'll fly off the handle.
Oh shit, okay.
Especially if someone tries to discredit them.
Like
put
again.
them down in some way, this will be like a knee-jerk response.
She got her ass whooped by a fucking 13-year-old.
Like again, those.
Or they want to be aggressive.
Sure,
And
I'm sure
that
sociopaths.
in females,
You know, that's a thing, but so is like just regular people who have like anger management and attitude problems. They act that way too.
I will get your ass deported.
So it would be hard to like actually tell.
Of self or others, so they don't really care what happens to them, because again, like, remember, they don't have any empathy, they don't have any feeling, they don't have feelings like we do in the same way, so they really don't care if something bad happens.
You do not care about what happens to you at all.
As his lawyer spoke to the press, Simpson goofed around, making faces like he didn't have a care in the world.
Now that seems like somebody who could be a sociopath. O.J. Simpson.
And everybody's feeling turbulence. It's like, oh, the plane's about to go down. They wouldn't even really care.
Not necessarily.
It's just like, oh, the game is over. Oh, that just gave the
I love
chills.
that the game is over.
They drive fast, probably. Like, do drugs, drink, do
Probably.
things that harm their
Usually,
bodies. They don't
yeah.
care.
Yeah, because they don't care.
Tattoos.
Probably.
They put their friends in bad places, so that would be.
I think of YouTube, like if they were doing like challenges, they wouldn't care if it was like really dangerous for someone or like hurt someone.
But if we can get a trampoline, and
That's
jump
the
in the middle
worst
of
part
traffic,
though.
that would be so
Right on
fire. Let's do
YouTube,
this.
you only see what the creator wants you to see.
The Paul brothers are.
So if someone was a
Jake
sociopath,
Paul that like lit a huge fire in his pool with like furniture and stuff. They could have burned the house down, or the people's home next door who could have been sleeping. Like for God's sake, they don't consider that.
A lot of people can fall into that category, putting their friends in harm.
yeah, if someone was a sociopath on
Then we have
YouTube,
consistent,
they'd only show you the
They don't know
parts
what it's
with like their personality and being all wild and stuff like that. So
Let's say
who
they got kicked out
knows?
of their house, and that meant that all the people that lived
You wouldn't
there
have
were
any
kicked out too, so
comparison. Like you only see what they want you to see. You don't see the other side of them.
And then this is like the worst. This is the final one. But this last one is lack of remorse. So like, let's say they're being reckless and
They
get
aren't.
hurt,
They don't.
they don't give any shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Unapologetic.
for example, if the YouTuber, try not to be too on the nose with this, but like,
If somebody got hurt during a prank or during a
You got
video or doing something for them, they wouldn't care. They don't feel bad. Like TanaCon, for instance, with you felt such remorse. You were like, oh my God, people were outside. This is terrible. I feel terrible. I'm going to find a way to reimburse people. Someone who fit this would be like, nah.
Yeah, they just sit
whatever.
there and.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
That would be their whole mentality.
Like if somebody got hurt on their YouTube video, they
might even
just
be like they bought tickets
keep recording
and
it.
they were taking a risk.
They wouldn't
like,
even
just try to,
bother.
like, they'd rationalize it. Like they would blame others because they try to rationalize it out to make it not their fault because they just don't really care.
Damn.
ooh, I'm feeling sick.
It's really gross. And it's just creepy. And the thing I think is hard for people who don't have this to understand is like it's hard for us to view life without emotion or without caring. And that's what they live in. That's their experience.
So they're like, it's kind of like a robotic state of living, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they're kind of
Like robots. Well, that doesn't speak a good image for robots now, does it?
Sociopath is like they're wearing a mask, and around certain people they use a different one. Like around you I'm going to be funny. Around you I'm going to be sad. Around you I'm going to be charming. Around you, but what's under the mask is the truth.
Yeah.
And that person is never seen.
No,
right?
I'd almost argue like doesn't really exist because they don't really know who they are because their whole life is spent like manipulating others and mimicking behavior to fit in. So that's why there's different masks.
But what is a sociopath? Is it like a genetic thing?
Daddy loves her, and Daddy's gonna give
Like
her
a
anything
chemical
she wants,
thing,
as
or
long as she does what Daddy tells her.
does it
They
like?
do a lot of like.
Can someone become a sociopath
Being like a data detective. They're trying to get as much information about you as possible.
so they can use
The
it
thing about YouTube is we put it out
and
there
manipulate
so they
you?
can find it by just watching. If we're being honest. So they're going to be detectives, they're going to scrounge, they're going to get as much information as they can so they can create the right mask for you so that they can manipulate to get what they
Yeah,
want. Because people
exactly.
People, they're tools.
If you wanted to segue into like a big picture about like YouTubers, because that's got to say something about YouTubers and YouTube in general, because that what you just described is like that's like a playground for people like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Is that that's like YouTube is that. It is like their playground. If they have been watching YouTubers growing up and now they're like, oh, I'm 18, I want to be a YouTuber. I'm going to use everything I learned. So do you think it is possible that a lot of YouTubers might be this?
They could be, or they could be narcissistic.
Yeah,
I know
narcissistic.
what it is, but not like the term.
Yeah, because narcissism is again, it's like born out of trauma usually, which kind of makes you feel bad for them a little bit, but like
That's more what like hit me when I was hearing about like Jake Paul and Logan Paul, like
put
narcissism.
up like this wall that they're better than. They need a lot of attention. They want everybody to like them. They want to control everything and everybody else, so they tend to be really manipulative as well. So there is some overlap with this, but they do actually feel things.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
They manipulate in the same way.
But they have a heart.
Yes.
Do sociopaths have a heart?
I don't believe so.
Whoa. Okay. Wow. In my 10 years of YouTube, I've met a lot of YouTubers. I've definitely met a few where I've got that gut feeling.
We're talking about.
I'm still leaning more towards narcissist than sociopaths.
That fit this, but I don't get that gut feeling. Are those people probably
better manipulators, or they know enough about you?
I literally, my heart.
It's really gross. I know.
So it's.
So like them, you might even be like friends with them because you don't know you're being manipulated.
Okay.
Okay. Can't trust anybody.
How realistic?
You don't know.
Is it that like what's like the statistic? I guess like how realistic is it for me to know?
Yeah, how many are
They say
there?
1 in 25.
1 in 25. Damn.
I thought it was like 1 in 10,000 or something.
They make it seem like it's a really low percentage. It's a huge percentage of the population. It's the same as like schizophrenia or other mental illnesses that we know well and we see and we hear about. But even in school, they didn't really talk enough about this because it's icky. It's the dark side, essentially.
Why?
1 in 25. That's.
Am I just learning?
Yeah, seriously.
This. Why is this something that nobody talks about? 1 in 25 is like a person in your class, or a person in my family for sure, or a person in my friend group.
1 in 25. That's like
100 people on YouTube.
5% of the population, right?
Yeah, it's way more common. Once you kind of start paying attention to it, you can feel those people out.
So for people watching.
So yeah, that's definitely a lot more common than I
in
thought.
Their day-to-day life, what should they look for? Is it the person who's always happy? Is there like a mean characteristic? Because it's not like an evil-looking person, right? 'Cause
No.
they're pretending to be nice.
Yeah, they're pretending, they're mimicking. I think in truth, it'd be someone who is really popular.
Simpson had an active social life and lots of friends.
And someone who always knows the right thing to say for some reason, no matter the situation. They're always really witty.
You know, I mean, I ordered a cake for myself. I'm not a monster.
I see. All right. So at least you had a cake.
Yeah, I'm not a sociopath.
Yeah.
They're actually super intelligent, usually, because to manipulate takes a lot of intelligence. Imagine all the, like, detecting we have to do and, searching for all those little bits about people that we can use to manipulate them.
Damn.
It's a lot of effort. They probably have a lot of different relationships in their past. Like, they tend to bounce from friends to friends because as soon as people start to see a chink, if they're not very good at
I've met
manipulating,
people like
they'll move
that.
on to another group. Like, adults move a lot. Not very far in a radius, but they'll move from like a city to another city.
like-
So the people who kind of figured out something with them aren't.
I mean, once they've gotten all the manipulating stuff down, how can you even tell?
Yeah, they do. They can even be married with kids. Whatever they think helps them fit in. Think about anything in life: owning a home, having a dog, getting married, having kids, whatever it may be. They're going to put up the best show that they can, and they're master manipulators. So they can manipulate people into thinking that they love them.
Look, you punched her a number of times.
I fell in love with that person.
You threatened to beat the blank out of her.
That's embarrassing.
When you got home, also said you warned you were going to kill her. You don't appear like a violent person at all. In fact, you appear rather calm, rather nice.
They'll do everything someone wants, whatever they think that, like, they'll learn so much.
So
about
popular,
So we talk about YouTube being their playground.
good at
So
manipulating
are
others,
sites. Because they can find people that way and they can
apathetic.
and then they'll do exactly what they want them.
Not even just YouTubers, like celebrities in general.
Perfect mate. They'll become that perfect mate.
Because it doesn't matter either way to them because they're
No,
not losing anything.
Because they don't have any empathy. They don't
Celebrities in general, there's probably a lot of sociopaths in that group then.
care. And they'll want to move quick.
I mean, if it's 1 out of 25, God.
Know you, and then they'll want to be your best friend, or they'll want to start dating, or then they'll start asking you to marry them, or they'll want to move in. Like, everything moves pretty quickly. Not crazy quick, because they're manipulators, but like just enough that you're like, and your friends and family be like, that's really fast, and I don't know them very well. And they won't let you see much of their life either. Like, usually they're hesitant to let people over to their house, or in their bedrooms, or parts of their space that they can't, like, completely make look a certain way.
What am I? Like, I feel like I attract sociopaths.
Potentially,
I'm
because you're
not
so soft.
I attract
Yeah, like, I'm
weird
not
people too.
Calling out people. I'm not saying there's certain YouTubers who I like.
I don't know if particularly I attract sociopaths, but I attract weird people in general.
But I also feel like I like get them and I want to help them and all of that.
Because you're empathic.
So an empath. I've heard that before.
Yeah.
What is
like,
that?
Yeah, same.
It's essentially like we feel for other people. Like that's the opposite. An antisocial personality disorder or a sociopath would be your antithesis, like the complete opposite. So every time you think, oh, but like that must really suck for them, they would have none of that. That doesn't exist. They might even be like, something horrific happens, and they're like, what's for lunch? Like, let's move on. Because it has no energy, no feeling for them. But an empath is someone you might even like attract these people because you do feel so much. And in doing so, unfortunately, you offer up a lot of yourself.
Yeah, it's like an opening.
Use all of this to make this work for me.
Yeah.
But does that
They can manipulate you to get what they want.
Possibly. I don't know if they know how to like people or love people.
So here I go again. I'm like, that's so sad.
It is.
But
is sad.
is it sad? Because they don't think it's sad.
It's sad for you because it would affect you. It doesn't affect them.
Because I just feel sad now. Because I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's 1 in 25 people. That's a lot. We all know one or multiple.
Yeah.
So then it's like that person is never going to experience like the joy of like having sex for the first time or like getting your first car or like going to an amusement. They don't like. That's sad. It's like a robot.
It is sad, but they don't know any different.
It's also scary to think like you could have a friend
It's like hard to be like, oh,
who's just using
horrible
you.
for them. And I'm sure if someone has some of the signs and symptoms but isn't fully engulfed in it, they might be really bummed and like try to fix it. But the amount of people I'd assume that fall into that category are very slim to none, especially if we don't catch it early enough, because it only gets worse.
What would happen if they went to therapy?
Oh God, probably nothing. Whatever they wanted to happen.
Whatever. Yeah.
Because they're manipulators. They're never going to tell me what's really going on or what they're worried about.
To heal.
They could potentially only get better at manipulating people.
Yeah. To heal.
Given, like, more tools
You need to want to be helped.
And you're actually, especially if it's like a couple, if you're sharing more about yourself, then you're giving them more information to utilize to.
Yeah.
I like to believe people can get better.
They can just.
I do what I do, but I don't know if
They can just take everything you say,
very much
like everything you know.
Those in prison have antisocial personality disorder or sociopaths.
That was a quick reaction that she had.
So your only regret is that the torture didn't go on anymore.
Right, and I regret not killing my other victim. I should have killed him too. I just didn't have time. I had to go somewhere.
Will you kill again?
If the opportunity arises, I hope so. Okay, we're done.
Are you done?
Yeah.
All right.
Good shit, dude. That's gonna be crazy, isn't it? That's gonna be wicked. Make it look good, please.
Okay, that's a good example.
Right.
That's a good example of a sociopath. Okay.
My final question.
Fuck.
YouTubers.
Obviously, there has to be varying degrees. Like, not all of them are that level of sociopathic.
I mean, I don't know him. That's the thing. Is like people put on shows to be on YouTube. Like, you know what I mean? Personas.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
going back to the symptoms and signs that we just read through, like not caring if people get hurt. He's done things to people like terrorizing.
Exactly.
His like team, right? Yeah. Like the lack of emotion in his eyes and stuff is kind of creepy. But I'd have to. I don't know. Is he? I mean, is he remorseful? Does he just pretend he's remorseful? We see like videos where he says he is, but is he? I don't know.
Exactly, you can't tell.
First of all, I'm so sorry.
Over video, it's impossible.
I know he's definitely impulsive, but he's also like a younger guy, you know?
Even talking to
I have to get to know him better because like we think there's empathy.
Seeing
but is it
them.
a show? Is it manipulation?
It's
I'd
like
to
you
hear
don't
what
know.
his life have to say.
if they're really good at it, then you would never know.
It's definitely possible. You have to get a fuller picture.
But yeah, I mean, he's a young kid. He's impulsive, right? I think that's part of it.
What his past girlfriends have to say.
Uh-huh.
People who aren't in his life will have a lot better things to say than people who are, because people are technically being manipulated right now, if that's the case. And I don't know if he is either. Like, I don't know. I haven't met him either, and I'd have to meet him, and I'd have to.
He just seems impulsive and like crazy and
because it could be narcissism.
in over his head.
Totally
Narcissism,
I
think.
We don't know.
Because they showed him in the previous video, like before he.
Is that? But do I not tell? How do I approach this? Do I say like, oh, I just want to sit and talk and
Before he,
and then I slowly get
became famous, and he was completely different. But that could have been an act too.
I think it's more because we're kind of on like we're being detectives. We're trying to figure it out. So I think it's more of like, hey, a lot of people talk trash about you because they do, and that's why I don't want to say he necessarily is, because I don't really know. But here's a way for us to sit down and talk and figure some stuff out. I think it's just kind of like a very open-ended, because we'll see where it leads us. And between the two of us, hopefully we can figure out if he's manipulative or he's lying or telling.
I still have no hatred or anything to really say about Jake Paul or Logan Paul,
I'm still human.
because I don't know anything about him either.
About them that I think is really important to know too is that they're instantly likable. They're extremely charismatic. Their manipulation allows them to. They can woo your grandma. They can make kids like them. Everybody thinks they're the life of the party and the best person.
Instantly, like, break your defenses.
Exactly what to say at the right time. They're witty. They're quick-witted. They're usually really funny and just overall charismatic. So everybody's gonna like them right away.
See, that gives me hope that he's not one. Because, like, not to drag him, but he's really not like
Yeah.
People instantly, they hate that guy.
Yeah.
Very hateable, punchable, I'd say. Is that offensive? Sorry, but you know what I mean? Like when somebody's like, I want to punch that guy. Like Jake
Very punchable.
It's like it's almost like Jeffrey. That people love to hate him.
Jeffree Star.
Yeah.
Go kill yourself. Well, so I feel like that almost
that negates it.
Kind of, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like if you were to say a certain celebrity who was a sociopath, ooh, could I get in trouble? But like, because we don't know. But like, it would be somebody instantly likable, like.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate to like drag somebody because they could be they're super nice. That's why people like them. But and I'm not calling anybody out. But let's say like an Ellen, she's super nice. Everybody loves her, and like that would be. And I don't think she is. But I'm just saying that like that's the type of person we're talking about. Is like that super personality. Everybody likes them. They don't really know why.
Did you happen to see the Logan Paul Casey Neistat interview?
Yes.
What did you think?
I mean, it was a little creepy, and he didn't really answer the questions, which I found interesting.
I've never seen that interview, so I would not know
kind of
anything about it.
All about him and like how it affected him.
It's the most viewed anti-suicide PSA ever.
The one thing that was interesting that relates to like sociopathic behavior is like instead of accepting, like you and I, if something happened, like even the Tanacon thing, you're like, oh my god, this is terrible, I feel terrible. Any normal person, like, I am so sorry. And
the whole lack of remorse.
Sorry, that is horrible. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. A sociopath will in turn say that it was so hard for me. You have no idea. They'll cry. This is all the money I lost and all the things that happened, and so that you feel bad for them. They want to turn it around on the situation on its head, so that then you're like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, and you'll leave every conversation feeling like it was worse for them and you feel bad for them, or you'll view them in a
damn.
Man, that must have been so hard for them. They're such a nice person. Like they'll just completely turn it around.
Maybe I'm being cynical.
Has that happened?
A little whiff of it sounding like you see yourself.
I feel like that's happened to me before.
No.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment.
Logan is like.
He is. Jake Paul isn't, but Logan Paul is likable.
Logan, I feel like, is more likable. Right? Like, not as many people hate him.
He's always seen as like the good brother and stuff, which is weird. I would say growing up with that brother, imagine what that was like.
Yeah, like everybody loves Logan, loves Logan, loves Logan.
He gets away with everything.
Gets away with everything.
Yeah.
He's so nice and fun and charming. Mm-hmm. And Jake is, that probably could even make, even if Logan's not a sociopath, that could just make Jake even more like.
Yeah, the tension. I mean, that's the thing, I think.
Anything to get attention.
that definitely probably
Love me.
affects him.
Why? And that's
Yeah.
why they feud so much. Not to get too deep, but like maybe Logan's feud with Jake is more like, well, I don't really care that much.
Yeah.
It's just money and I'm getting views. And Jake might actually be personally like,
Might actually be mad.
Yeah.
his brother.
Yeah. I don't know.
Jake said, quote, I try to be just
I mean,
like him. It's so easy to get sucked into trying to be someone
they're
else.
both
That's
rich
happened most of
and they're
my
both
life with my
successful.
We'd have to
So I mean,
because I don't know. Antisocial personality
but
disorder is more common among
people
biological relatives.
people
So
always
they're more predisposed to the
want
general population.
to be better,
1 in 25.
especially when they're being compared.
Has antisocial personality disorder, you're much more likely.
You said something about like a traumatic event. Like, if a kid has a traumatic event happen, are they more likely to become a sociopath later?
I think they're more predisposed for a lot of things. Like trauma messes with us in so many various ways.
So you can become a
It happens all the time.
sociopath.
Say you were raised in a household where you were physically abused from like the ages of 3 to 12. Essentially, what trauma does, if it's done at a young age, is it like doesn't allow us the time to feel safe or to feel like we're actually cared for. It instills fear when we don't really have any place, we don't know where to go with that, we don't have any way to use it, we don't know any coping skills yet. How do we deal with that feeling? The one thing we can do for children, honestly, to like stop perpetuating the cycles that we all have done, is like letting them know that how they feel is okay and it's valid. We might not agree, but that doesn't mean that they don't still have that feeling. And if we teach children how to communicate about how they feel, I honestly think that a lot of the ailments and issues we struggle with mentally, as well as physically, could be resolved.
See, I didn't know you could just become a sociopath. Or well, become a sociopath in the terms of like,
And I felt like I had to be strong.
you weren't born that way.
She was like having trouble. So it was always like, oh, Shane's my rock. He's my support system. Oh, he's always strong. So I like
for other people in your life now too. Are you like a fixer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were like a parentified child, so you've been like an adult.
I mean, he mentioned that earlier that he was a fixer. You know.
I think now I'm just at the point where I'm like, I like stay up all night and I'm just lost. And I'm just like, oh, which is why I started falling down the holes of like sociopaths and this and that. Because I'm like, what's wrong with me? Like, why am I so lost if I can help all these people?
I'm the same when it comes to like
I look at my
people, right?
and I'm like, oh.
Whenever I see somebody who's having a bad day or a hard time, I usually want to like, I want to help them.
Experience with Jake and this sociopath, all this stuff, this very much feels like the breaking point of like, maybe it'll be good to realize I can't help him.
Maybe.
And maybe I should just literally go to therapy myself.
Definitely.
Instead of trying to give therapy to YouTubers like I've been doing.
There is hope.
But yeah, like when
Yeah, I might have to do a series just about you
when other
fixing
people
me.
feel bad around me,
Series, jeez. Some
I
fucking
start
actual
feeling
therapist
bad,
fixing
and
me.
I'm like,
'Cause, like, yeah,
I don't want this negative thing to affect you or me. So let's talk about it, you know. And I try to do as much as I can.
I'm so sorry. It's not that many. I mean, it's quite a few.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm spiraling.
Learned
This
a
is
lot
the
about
more than just a Jake Paul
sociopaths.
series at this point, right? This is like what she described is so many people I know and so many people I've met and worked with and been friends with and been in relationships with, and anybody could be a sociopath. Anybody. Like, there's a bar right there. Like, if we walk into that bar, there's probably, what, 100 people? So that means there's 4?
Why isn't that like a thing that's like talked about?
Yeah.
Because the people in charge might be that.
That's true.
Think about it this way. If your teacher's a sociopath, why would she teach you about it? She doesn't want you to know her tricks. I just got the chills. Or like the president. Everybody thinks Donald Trump is a sociopath. So what if every president's a sociopath? Kinda would make sense, right? I heard Steve Jobs was
I did hear about that. I guess I never really thought about what that even meant. I just hear that word and I go, oh, that's different.
Yeah.
Literally all I know is I'm not a sociopath. you're not a sociopath? And like, that's it. Like this girl, she could be a sociopath. Look at her, she's smiling. Look at her. Are you a sociopath?
I'm out catching birds, you know, those scooters.
That's what a sociopath is. 2 questions. Number 1, do you think Jake Paul is a sociopath?
Absolutely.
Do you think you know any sociopaths?
They just came across this random girl?
I do not.
What if I told you that 1 in 25 people is a sociopath?
Then I would be questioning my friends.
Same.
Yeah.
Wanted a picture?
That's a lot of... Oh, yeah, she's a Shane Dawson fan. That's a lot of people.
You are so beautiful. I just want to cut your skin off and
Like...
Contestant number 3.
Like, to
step
be
on up.
like a sociopath, that is a lot of people. That means, yeah, there's a sociopath, at least one in every single class I have. Statistically. I'm sure that's not like the dead set, obviously. But it's a statistic, you know. Hold up, I'm gonna stop the recording real quick and reset it because I think it's about to die. Hey guys, back again. A little somebody came by to join us. Brownie bud. Hi, buddy. Hi. But yeah, like something like this, like why isn't it talked about, right? Like if 5% of like the nation, 1 out of every 25 person is a psychopath. No, it's not psychopath. Sociopath. Let's be specific. Sociopath. Then, like, why isn't that a more mentioned thing? Because you would think that, you know, with how many mental disorders and how many like shootings and how many murders that happen in the US, that people would talk about it more, right? Like, say you have a school shooting and it's like people talk about how, oh, this kid has always been a little weird, you know, he never really fit in, or, well, no, I guess sociopaths are likable, so that wouldn't really match. So people like O.J. Simpson, yeah, that could be a sociopath. Or R. Kelly. Should I be saying names? I probably shouldn't be, but R. Kelly is one really creepy dude. Like, look up R. Kelly cult, and like, it's just like, that's a person I could totally think was a psychopath. But sociopath, oh my god, I keep getting that mixed up. But I don't think Jake Paul is a sociopath. He just seems too not likable. And it seems like I guess you can become a sociopath. But like, they didn't say that like fame was like a thing for like sociopaths. Like, that's something that could set off sociopathy, is like trauma at an early age or something like that. Because I'm guessing that trauma is usually something that would be like, or sociopathy would usually be something that's like the beginning. Like, you start out that way, you know, like those creepy kids in The Shining, you know, it's like, come play with us, come play with us. It's like, that's creepy as fuck. Okay, like, people start out that way. Because if it's 1 in 25, and if it's like people who are direct blood relatives are more likely to be sociopaths as well, then it has to be something genetic, right? It has to have like a genetic predisposition to it. But Jake Paul just seemed normal ish, when he was at Disney. And then when he became all YouTube famous, him and Logan, they really like hammed it up. Or as from what I've seen, again, I'm not a low gangster or whatever. I'm not a Paulinian, a Paulinial. I've not seen anything really of Jake Paul and Logan Paul. I've probably seen like 2 or 3 videos of each of them, probably less than that. And of course the KSI fight, but I've mentioned that before. But I mean, yeah, I think Jake Paul is just like he has a big ego. He's young. I can't even say he's young. I'm younger than him, so I probably shouldn't be saying that. But you know what I mean. Like he's bombastic, right? He's constantly escalating things because that's what he needs to do. It's a character. Or maybe I'm wrong, and he is a psychopath or a sociopath, and they'll find the definitive answer at the end of the series. But I don't think that if Jake was a sociopath, that he would let Shane post this after deciphering that he was a sociopath, because he wouldn't want people to know that, right? Like, get what I'm saying? Like, this is a collaborative effort. Well, not really collaborative. It's like a permission kind of thing, right? It's like Jake is giving Shane the trust and permission to videotape him, to talk about him in certain situations, and like use his name basically for this series, But he wouldn't do that if he was a sociopath. He wouldn't let Shane do that, I'm surprised he even let Shane do it normally, because I wouldn't want somebody even proposing, right, that I had some type of mental disorder. But, he probably agreed to it because YouTube views and all that jazz. But yeah, I mean, I hope we get to like the Jake Paul part soon, because again, I'd like to see more of this guy, right? In different situations. And I know what you're probably gonna say, Quentin. Well, wait, you probably wouldn't say that because you don't. Well, you probably know my name's Quentin if you've watched our other videos, but you'd probably be like, Afro, just watch some of Jake Paul's videos. But for me, it's like, I don't think, under the guise of trying to learn like who Jake Paul really is, that I'd enjoy his videos, right? Like, he doesn't seem like the type of personality that I would watch on a regular basis. Like, he may be entertaining for me to watch every once in a while, like Fuzi or Drama Alert. Like, I'll watch them every once in a while. Like maybe once every like 3 months, like I'll click on one of their videos and give it a little watch. But like, he doesn't seem like someone who would be a recurring like person that I'd want to keep watching. Especially if he ends up being like a super bad sociopath or something like that. But I think that's pretty much it for now. Okay, so thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I am Afro. See ya next time.